Phase 4. Everyone's talking about Phase 4, but guess what? It's over.
Oh. Wait, are a lot of people talking about Phase 4?
No, just us. We're the only people left.
We just keep talking about it.
We just can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Rockefeller Records. Hello, everyone. We broke down the movies. We did a tier list. Now we're going to do it for the shows and the specials.
Yeah.
Well, there's only two. I don't know why I'm acting like there's more than two of them.
I wish there were more.
I wish there were more.
Not in Phase 4, because honestly, there's already so much to talk about.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's get started.
Question, time out.
Okay.
Were there more movies or more TV shows in Phase 4?
By a lot, there was more TV shows. It's almost like double.
Oh.
So you can understand why people feel fatigued by Marvel.
Yeah.
They just put out so much content, and they waited almost half a year to like...
Yeah. And let's just preface by saying it all started in like 2020, like January 2021.
Yeah.
Like, it's only been 2 years of shows.
Yeah.
But man, has it felt like 5.
Oh, yeah. All right, starting it off with WandaVision. You know, everyone out of the gate was like, oh man, this is so revolutionary. It put Wanda on her head, put Vision on his head.
Big old hole in his head.
Oh, am I right? But it played with the idea of like sitcoms and TV tropes, and used it to like tell her story in a new, different way. Like we know she grew up in Sokovia, and she was experimented on. It has a wealth of knowledge behind it, and the way they told the story was really cool. It may have not aged as well as some of the other stuff, because the ending of WandaVision leading into Doctor Strange 2 is very like it's at odds with each other. But
or even like the Evan Peters showing up thing, and it really is this our first kind of introduction of the Fox X-Men. Are we gonna get like some kind of timelines crossing over? I mean, this really was like the first big Marvel thing that happened since the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like buzzed about it, and I mean, I remember every week trending on Twitter was like WandaVision, Vision, Wanda, Evan Peters. It was like all over the place, and it was really cool in the moment. I don't know, looking back, if it's like my favorite, but it was a moment, as the kids say. It was a moment.
It got people who don't watch Marvel into it.
Yeah.
Like former coworkers we've had here binged Marvel movies. Well, some. I told them not to watch all of them, because I was like, there's no way you're gonna like most of these.
Yeah.
Just watch these and that. And they liked some of the Marvel content because of WandaVision. So it's like it did its job in like expanding the audience.
Yeah.
And same with a couple of these TV shows, it actually expands the audience a little bit. So while it doesn't have a great ending and it has a boner joke,
classic that.
I still want to.
So stupid.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it too, but it's not even really a joke. It's just a character's name.
I know. And the way Agatha, the song.
Yeah. Oh.
I think you have to put it S tier, just because it set the standard for what these shows were going to be.
Exactly.
And while it may not hold up anymore, some parts I still like it. I've rewatched it, so.
Really interesting.
And it's one of the few I've actually rewatched. I've watched a few.
I've not gone back to I think any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You should.
There's a few that I want to, but no, it really. I think this is the best one that plays of like a week by week.
Yeah, so. But it also works. This one works really well.
Yes, but this, I think what we see later is things start to kind of fall apart because it's a week by week thing, and WandaVision it didn't.
Speaking of one that fell apart week by week, we're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Probably the one most impacted by the pandemic, because it had to cut a whole plot point.
Yeah.
It made the plot point of like the bad guy group, even if you could say they're bad, they kind of are. They explode.
Yeah, doing bad for what they think is good. Yeah.
It kind of, they're kind of neutered a little bit in that, because they had to cut stuff that felt too much like coronavirus and like the rumors and like conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we don't want that in there.
Yeah.
So it ruins that. It kind of knocks it down a peg. But Bucky and Sam are just so good to watch together.
Yeah, if you don't have the chemistry between Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, there's no show.
Yeah.
And it is so good. Even the first episode feels a little slow, because we have to kind of set up where those two are, and they don't even meet really until the end of that episode. And so but like from the moment they get together, that you're just like, this is so much fun. You had the Dora Milaje, you had Baron Zemo. I mean, this was clearly what they were hoping to set up a bunch of future stuff, because now we are seeing that pay off a little bit with Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina, and U.S. Agent's going to be back in Thunderbolts. Bucky's going to be back in Thunderbolts. And so this one, while it felt like, yeah, things were missing, and we got, I mean, our new Captain America, I think everyone kind of forgets that about this show, is like, you know, was a great buddy comedy. It's like a buddy comedy, you know, like a buddy comedy kind of action-packed show, like a Lethal Weapon. You also get like just like the low-key introduction of like, you're in Captain America.
Yeah.
And now he's getting his own movie.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
And it does bring back Sharon Carter. There are questions about like, how are they going to explain that? Is she a Skrull? You know, there's a lot of theories still left. So I like, at the end of the day, I like what they introduced. Yeah. It just wasn't executed as best as
and the Isaiah Bradley stuff, like all things we're going to see later, because I think they're coming back for the movie. It's just so much, there's so much good setup in this, where by the end of it, you're like, yeah, that was good. It was fun, you know, but I was really around for, you know, Bucky hitting on Sam's sister.
So I think we're going to put that C tier. Feels okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Next we go to Loki. Loki just meeting a bunch of other Lokis, and the whole saga, Infinity Saga, just been put in a drawer somewhere. Yeah. It sets up Phase 4 entirely. It's like these first two things in the Black Widow movie were you kind of just like, okay, but what are they doing? Yeah. Loki was like, we're doing Kang. Yeah. We're doing multiverse. Yes. Yeah. And it is just so perfect if you like time travel, if you like multiverse stuff. Like, I mean, we're big fans of Jet Li's The One. Of course. So
very Jet Li's The One. Like the TVA is so much fun. There's just, this felt like a really cool sandbox that actually like mattered. And man, I could talk about Owen Wilson's Mobius for days.
And and what's good about Mobius is you think he's going to go one way, he goes the other way, but that's a lot of characters. Even Loki, the different variants, you think they're going to be one way, and they end up being another, and then they end up being another. So it's like it's a very Loki-esque show. Yeah. If people love Buffy, I know I bring Buffy a lot.
It is very Buffy.
It's very Buffy.
It's very Buffy without like the villain of the week. This is, I think, what I wanted Multiverse of Madness to be more of. More of just like, what kind of weird Doctor Stranges are out there? Like Crocodile Loki. Yeah. You have Throg, who shows up a little bit. You got President Loki. You got Kid Loki.
You got Old Man Loki.
Yeah, Boastful Loki. It's like, there's just so many good things about it. There's just so much fun. And it looks cool. The soundtrack's cool. This one, hands down, probably my favorite.
And after seeing everything like Multiverse of Madness and how Kang has specifically designed this universe to go the way he wants it to, that means he let Doctor Strange go to all these other multiverses, because that's part of his plan. Yeah. So it's like he's intentionally letting Doctor Strange cause incursions or something, or help out with incursions, because that's his plan. So it makes the reveal at the end even sweeter, because you're like, oh, this man's causing chaos everywhere.
Yeah. Or like, you know, it's like, oh, why wouldn't the TVA stop Captain America? Well, because they don't need to.
So we're going to put this S right in front of WandaVision. Spoiler alert, that's all it's making this list. So let's go to What If, which JD did not watch.
Still haven't watched. I think I watched a video of kind of the basic beats of every episode for Doctor Strange.
T'Challa as Star-Lord leads into the Ultron taking over and fighting Uatu and all that stuff. So it's like, the final episode is really great, and it does set up cool stuff that it like sets up Doctor Strange, but at the end of the day, it's not really connective tissue to anything. And you know, as MCU watchers, you want most of everything to connect.
A lot of the first season was, hey, we need people to kind of understand when Haley Atwell shows up in Doctor Strange that, oh yeah, they did this in What If. Yeah. And so it will be interesting to see what season 2 is like.
Yeah, I hope they're doing another Marvel Zombies episode, so I hope they go really crazy with that one because it was already crazy to begin with. The team that they have, like Happy Hogan and Peter Parker, and then they're fighting Scarlet Witch as a zombie and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I'm gonna put it D though, just because it wasn't connected as much as I wanted it to be. I want, now that we know for sure it's a multiverse and all these things are happening, it does make it a little bit better. All right, next we go to Hawkeye, which JD would probably say is an S, but
I would 100% say it's an S, but I understand. I can do this all day.
It's just introducing us to Kate Bishop and Yelena, who we've seen in Black Widow, just bringing her back. But also it's Clint Barton accepting his role as just a mass murderer, a serial killer, if you will.
A dad.
And also a dad who just wants to get back home for Christmas.
I don't care what anyone says about Iron Man 3. This is my Christmas Marvel right here. It's fun. It's got that Christmas feel. It's got that. I just love watching Jeremy Renner be over it the whole time. Mm-hmm. I think one of the strongest points about Age of Ultron was that Hawkeye kind of progression, and he's got this family, and he's this other dude, and just to see that, but like stretched out over like 6 episodes, and he's just over it half the time, and he's like, my joints hurt, my back hurts. What am I freaking doing? He's like I have like just it's that mixed with his like, I've seen it all. Yeah. I don't care anymore. Like, oh great, like there's a giant dude who Kingpin shows up, whatever, it's just like I love that. I think Jeremy Renner's great at that. Yeah. And then but like Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop was pairing him with her, who is very excited, very like I want to be you. Was perfect. And then pairing her with Yelena is perfect too, because it's like it's a whole different dynamic, but it's still the same Black Widow Hawkeye relationship. But we also get some reveals, like we get Echo, who's going to get her own series, and she's great. Like just like the acting alone there is amazing. But we also find out that Hawkeye's wife, she's not just being like a stereotypical wife. She's actually hiding the family because she's a former SHIELD agent as well. So it's like you learn so much about Hawkeye that helps you inform. Like in some ways, like it helps like the Black Widow movie. It's going to inform your repeat viewings because you understand all these things about these characters. It's just cool. It's just really neat. Like Kingpin showing up was, I think we all kind of expected it. Like we'd all maybe heard rumors about it, but it really is like it makes me just excited about Daredevil and Echo and more Hawkeye, and I'm just like So and trick arrows, man. So many good trick arrows. Good. So we're gonna put it A, but it's a cusp one. It could be an S if you really want it to be. Imagine that it is, but for graphic sake, I've already created it, and it's an A. And next we go into Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac has entered the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, he's here, and he's just amazing. Should he have danced more? He should have, but done the none of his none of the Moon Knight characters really dance. Not yet. Jake might. Jake dances. But we don't see that much in this. But it's a superhero who has split personality, and he's being sort of forced to be the host of Khonshu and do his bidding. Meanwhile, all this other stuff's going on. Ethan Hawke is trying to do the balance of power, but it's actually for bad reasons. Yeah. It's a lot of mythos that they create and introduce to us. I would say this is the most creative out of the TV shows, whereas Wanda played with the TV tropes. This plays with just like perspectives, like because from different perspectives, each of the Moon Knight personalities thinks they're doing the right thing. I think by the end, there are things that fall apart a little bit. We don't get the kind of answers that we'd like, but I mean, if for a show where it ends with a giant skeleton bird and a giant alligator, fighting, I mean, it does rule, and really, but this is like, it is Oscar Isaac, and a few other actors like carrying this show, because you have to like be on board with this idea that there's a guy who blacks out and he has no idea what's happening, and also he's the avatar of an Egyptian god, and he has like 4 different costumes. And it is the most non-Marvel stuff. Yes. Even though it is Marvel, obviously, but it feels the most separated from all of it. So I think if you don't really like the Marvel stuff, I think this is the show you can actually watch and enjoy. Yeah, and also it makes it the most interesting to see. Okay, well, how are they gonna get Moon Knight? Obviously, we're all leading up to Secret Wars. Like, how is this gonna get kind of
to that
pushed into this a little bit?
It's the same. It's like the Blade problem. It's like I know he was introduced at the end of Eternals, but how?
How?
So we're gonna put that B. And next we go to Miss Marvel. It's been a while since we've had a good origin story. Like technically Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man was 3 movies that were just an origin story, just spread across 3 movies. But this feels like the most honest and true origin story because Iman, she cared so much about this character in the show, and it just comes through. You feel it. It's low stakes too. That's what I enjoy most.
Yes.
Not everything has to be world ending.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of these aren't even world ending either. So the closest is like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Moon Knight.
Yeah.
They're the closest to world ending.
Yeah.
This is just like she's just understanding her powers and protecting her family.
Yeah.
That's it.
I know I said Loki was probably up there as my favorite, but I think that's like this one is really probably like the most I enjoy. Like I enjoyed every week getting to like sit down, watch it. I loved Iman. Like you can tell that she just loves this so much, and she's just happy to be happy. She is the Rose Tico of all of this. To bring up Last Jedi again, but she's just excited to be here, and that carries so much, and it's just a fun time.
I know they're all TV shows, but this one feels like week to week you felt like you learned new things about the character.
There's just a lot of love here, and that comes through like in every episode.
It's worth a watch. We put it A tier. It's really fun, and it sets up the Marvels movie that's coming up. Next we go into She-Hulk, another one that got incorrectly criticized. Like there are things to criticize in this show. The goobers on the internet decided to criticize it for is exactly what the show is pointing out.
Yeah.
So while it may not be the best of the MCU shows, I think what they did with She-Hulk herself, and also just like how they were just like, oh yeah, here's these random characters from the MCU that will never show up anywhere.
Yeah.
So we'll use them for this. Also, P.S. here's Hulk's son as just like a joke.
Yeah.
And her just like controlling her own narrative by the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think the plot points are good. I think it's just like the way they got there could have been executed a little bit better.
This is another one though, just like Moon Knight. I am interested to see again. All right, she's broken the fourth. She broke into Disney Plus. Like, how do we go from that to like the mainline MCU? Because once you introduce those things, it's kind of hard to be like. It's kind of hard to say, hey, you're in Secret Wars and you're gonna die, and her be like, well, do I have to? You know, it's like
the one thing I think they will probably do is that She-Hulk only ever breaks the fourth wall in her own comics.
Yeah,
she doesn't break it in other people's comics. So I think if she's not the focus of it, you're probably not gonna see it.
That's smart.
But at the same token, is like Deadpool is constantly breaking the fourth wall. So how the heck are they going to get him in there? So I see there is inherently a problem with a fourth wall breaking person. Yeah. So we're going to put She-Hulk C tier, but I think what they did with She-Hulk, with Wong, with Abomination, I think all of those things are really good. And the way that, like I said, the plot points are good. And the fourth wall breaking stuff is really cool. I don't know. Some of the acting felt a little weird.
Yeah, it was definitely trying to find its footing as like a comedy or like a legal drama. But yeah, bring on the Wongiverse, that's all I'm saying.
bring the Madison-verse. Ooh. All right, now we're going to quickly get to the specials. Werewolf by Night's going to be a B, and the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be a C. Not because we hate them or anything. Werewolf by Night is really cool. I really like it, enjoy it, but it's got the Moon Knight problem. It's like, how does this connect to the rest of the thing? And then the Guardians one just didn't feel like it. While it's cute and great and we like it, you kind of don't need it.
Yeah.
Almost. And because the big plot point is something you can introduce in the movie.
Oh, which they totally will.
Yeah. So
it will start out since we're like a few weeks out. I'll be like, Mantis, you are my sister.
I think Werewolf by Night is the mold to have. Is introduce a bunch of characters, kill the ones that you don't need, keep the few that you need.
Yeah.
Man-Thing is just like, I'm so excited for him to be the next Groot. I'm hoping, praying, wishing, crying.
I think we're gonna get a Groot Man-Thing like road trip movie.
You got to. I mean, if they're gonna do Kang Dynasty, you got to get them together somehow. I don't care. Just get them together.
Do it.
If Rocket's going to pass away, Groot needs a new dad at some point. So, but yeah, that's Phase 4 shows.